What's going on, Wolves and Warriors? My name's Jay Stewart, and this is the Better Body Academy podcast, the #1 show for those looking to permanently overhaul their mind and body without dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. We banish the fitness industry BS and replace it with science-backed strategies proven through countless client transformations. In the Better Body Academy, we help busy men and women around the world get unstuck and back into momentum so they start feeling strong and sexy again. Our mission is to transform 1 million lives, and you, my friend, could be next. And on that note, let's get straight into today's show. All right, guys, welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast, the place to come when you want to transform your mind and body permanently without the dumb diets and stupid unsustainable workout programs. And today I'm joined by one of my main men, Mr. Jonathan Marshall Stewart. I was just trying to give you a creative nickname, mate. Sorry. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm really good.
Awesome. So where have you just got back from? Well, not just, obviously you were pretty quick, right? Where'd you get back from?
Just a run, 13-kilometer run. Yeah.
Dude, you love it. It's like, I'm going to ask you a question, which is like do you actually enjoy running? But to set the scenes for you guys, basically, if you're in the Better Body Academy, you all know John. We've been working together for probably, what is it, a year now, maybe?
Going on for that, yeah, a month off, yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. And so I decided to kind of give John a call. I wanted to ask him for a little bit of advice personally about his own transformation. And then in doing so, he was out for a run, and I was like, "What are you doing, man?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just on a lazy 15 kilometers in miles, I think you said it." And so I decided to say, "Well, look, hey, listen, let's do an episode," because I wanted to pick apart your like mindset fascinates me. Like, it just really does, dude. And so how, like, you're already an achiever in the business world, but you didn't feel that same level of achievement necessarily in your fitness kind of health world. And the transition that you've made over the last year has just been phenomenal, dude. So firstly, congratulations. But the first question I want to ask you is, so for the guys that obviously are watching this, both in the mastermind group and perhaps the podcast, like, take us back to, say, a year ago, bro. Where were you at? Because I think a lot of people need to be reminded of that.
I think it probably started just before when I joined. Probably worse pace. My highest weight, I think, was probably about 135 kilos, something like that.
135 kilos.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I was probably stressed, just eating without any plan, I suppose, just kind of just eating as I always have done, kind of putting on weight, but then dropping a little bit and then putting it on again once I got a little bit more active, but never really having a plan. I'm quite negative to any fitness and anything on that side of things.
Did you say you were quite negative towards it?
Yes, yeah.
Why do you think that actually was?
I was fearful of the challenge, I think.
Right.
And I didn't want to put myself in that position where I'd fail.
Right.
Now looking back on that.
Yeah, that's a really interesting comment that you kind of mentioned. When you said you were fearful of the challenge, what do you mean by fearful of challenge? Like, what was like going through?
I didn't want to embarrass myself.
Really?
So I think that was the biggest part of it. So yeah, my brother regularly said to me, "Come on, get in the gym. You need to get in the gym." That kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be embarrassing just to get through the door. You know what I mean? Just to go and put yourself in that position, because you automatically think that everybody in the gym's already fit. Not in that atmosphere kind of thing. So I think that's the difficult side of things. So my journey was, I started getting a little bit fitter. We going out and doing some walking and things like that, and started to see some momentum, started to see myself losing weight, but it was slow. It was very, very slow. And that's when I don't know which way it went. I don't know if I reached out to you or you reached out to me. I don't know what it was, but had a
Maybe did we
conversation.
meet on Grinder or Tinder? But
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember what it was, but and then you mentioned obviously about the BBA, and yeah, I thought let's give it a go. What have I got to lose?
dude, I love that. So a lot of people say that same thing though. What have I got to lose? Well, if that's the case, then like you mentioned that you were fearful at the time. How did you overcome the fear with such a nonchalant attitude? Like, well, what have I got to lose? Because you were fearful in one angle, but then on the other angle, you were, what have I got to lose? How did you what was it that caused you to take a leap, so to speak?
I didn't know what I was signing up for.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Nice.
Was probably some of it. Didn't understand fully what I was getting myself into, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you
And
think
then I
that
think,
that actually helped, actually not
yeah,
knowing too much?
yeah,
Yeah. Right.
massively.
Right.
Yeah. Because I think if you'd have told me, right, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be doing that, you're going to need to go to the gym 3 times a week, you're going to be doing, I'd have been like, oh no, I'm not doing any of that. Where very much at the start it was, no, you can do home workouts. I mean, you can do what you feels good for yourself. And then it was me leading it, wasn't it? It was me saying, right, I think I now need to move this on. And you were right, no problem. There's a gym workout. Do you know what I mean? And it was very much at my pace. So yeah, that was what was good about it. Whereas I think if you'd have come and said, we're going to change how you deal with everything in your life, I'd, I'd have probably shut off to that and gone, nah, that's not my plan. That wasn't my plan. So,
Is that a stubbornness or is that a fear?
I think it's a fear. Yeah.
I'm just like so fascinated with the idea of, just getting into the heads of clients or people that are thinking about coming on board, because I just want to know, how do you help someone move forward? I kind of see it's not really my job to push someone, because you push
Yeah.
someone that's not ready, they kind of end up back in their own set. But how do you kind of encourage someone gently out? So do you think it's a good idea for someone to, when they're starting, do you think it's a good idea to take it slowly? Or do you think the whole idea of just going in the deep end is a better idea?
I suppose it depends on person, doesn't it? It
Right.
depends on that person where they're at, I suppose.
Right.
I suppose if they haven't got a history of fitness and health and that kind of stuff, then maybe a little bit slower and steady, because they've got no experience of it, have they? So they're going to instantly start putting up those barriers as soon as you start saying, right, you need to do this, this, this. Oh, well, I've never been in a gym before. I've never run that amount. I've never done that. I've never, you know what I mean? They're just going to instantly put up those barriers, aren't they? Where if it's maybe someone who has been fit all their life and then started piling on the pounds when they got a little bit older, became a dad, that kind of stuff, but they were fit until the 30s, 40s, they might be more receptive to, get back in the gym, hit it hard, because they know that's the history. Do you know what I mean? They knew what they were doing before was working. Wow. So maybe that's...
Dude, I just had a moment. I've never thought of that before. Is that someone who has experienced it before and then been through it, and so therefore they have some sort of sense, even though they might be like totally out of shape, they might be, yes, but I know that the squat rack's not going to bite me in the butt type thing. That's wow, that's a really good insight, man. Thank you, because that'll actually help me a little bit more. I think I was actually on the phone to a new client this morning, and he basically said to me, oh, I'm just like, I guess I have to go and sign up for a gym, right? And it was so obvious that he was super anxious about it. And it's like, no, you don't have to. We can just start you at home if you'd prefer to do that, build up your confidence and take it at your pace. I think the problem with people that do challenges is that they think that this is all about getting as quickly as you can to the goal, But what I keep seeing time and time again is people that rush to the goal only change on a surface level. They haven't evolved as a person or switched their mindset. So they end up back where they were actually beginning.
Yeah.
So like what kind of things did you used to tell yourself, I guess, to justify, obviously you're successful from a business perspective, but maybe not from a health perspective. Did you kind of justify it with a story at all?
I think I just always kind of justified that I could do whatever I needed to do.
Right.
But now looking back on that, that was myself just limiting myself as well. So I wouldn't put myself in a position where, again, I'd not be able to do something.
Right. Right.
You
So
get what I'm saying?
risking exposure. Yeah. Okay. So risking exposure of failure wouldn't be something that you'd entertain.
Exactly. So if someone were going and doing something, I'd go, no, I won't do that because I think actually I'm probably too heavy to do that. So I won't do it.
Dude, that's yeah.
So there was that, and then you just make the story up. Well, I'm fit enough to do everything that I want to do. So that then just becomes my options. So you become very much narrow-minded down that route, don't you? So you just don't put yourself in a position where you can't do something.
So can you kind of describe for me how your mindset, however you describe mindset, can you describe how it's different now to before, potentially? It might be hard, but.
I think I've always had a strong mindset. I think you were a little fearful of that.
Yeah.
To start, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
I've always been determined and driven in what I do, I think. And once I've made a decision, that decision's made and I'll live with it, kind of thing. But now my mindset completely different. It's on a different level. Do you mean I can't remember the last time I was angry?
Really?
Yeah.
So what the hell does fitness have to do with anger?
Just how it's the mindset side of things, isn't it? It's how you deal with things. It's all part of this mastermind. Looking at things in the bigger picture. Meditating in the morning, looking at that, being able to take 5 minutes before you react to things and getting yourself in that cycle of stress, having a plan for your day. And then when things come along before that throw your day out and you didn't really have a plan, so you were just reacting to everything what were going on in that day. Now I've got a plan. I have my to-do book. I have a list of jobs what I do in that day. Something comes along and everything's just ranked on a priority basis. So that new thing what comes along, if it doesn't score high enough in a priority, right, no problem, it'll go on the to-do list, it'll get done tomorrow or later on that week. And it's just as simple as that, where before that it had probably thrown me out and made me really stressed, and you know what I mean? And then you finish the day and you look back on the day and you think, what have I really done? What have I done today? I've just run about reacting to everything and not actually getting anything done, where now I have a list of jobs and a lot of the time they're done by lunchtime. And I'm like, right, I can get some of the other stuff I didn't think I'd get around to.
That is phenomenal, because you go from the major reason that most people think that they can't start is the idea that I don't have enough time. Yet when you become empowered, you're almost like, I've kind of got too much time. How does that actually work,
I know.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
And it's just that process of setting goals and then smashing them goals, I think, is just really good. That's, that's gone across everything what I do now. Yeah.
Dude, the one of the things that I think is the stupidest term is time management. Like, how do you manage time? Like
it just keeps on going, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just keeps going. Exactly. So what we're talking about is task management and prioritization over tasks. And this is everyone's a work in progress on this. No one's perfect on it.
Yeah, it's my book. That's what I do. I list my jobs, and then at the side, I've got a priority 1 to 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Number 1 is high priority. They've got to be done. Number 5 is I'll get round to it. Do you know what I mean? And in between. And that's
Wow.
basically, so I just go through and all the ones get done first, then all the 2s, then all the 3s. If you're on a 5, I'm sorry, I might not get round to you.
Yeah, and because you are now aware of the importance of health in your
Yeah.
day, in your priority list, you're assigning a value to that. And if you didn't get the high priority tasks done, then potentially the health would drop off. So,
No, the health gets done before I get any of that done.
really, wow,
Yeah.
dude, that's a mindset shift, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
for someone that perhaps didn't prioritize it for a lot of years, to actually know this is more important, and it's your business. It's not as if you're an employee.
Yeah.
Do you think it's important for you for your results? How important is the actual health part of it, the exercise part of it, or the eating well? How important is that in actually impacting upon your results?
Yeah, it's massive, I think. Just looking at our business plans and the stuff what we're working towards now.
Mm.
We usually set 12-month business plans. I think we'll have and tasks within that and jobs what we're going to do and things like that. I think we'll probably have those done within 6 months. So
Which equates to better financial returns as well.
yeah.
Which equates to a better lifestyle, which
Yeah.
equates to more ability to focus on your health. And this is the thing, when you get into momentum like this, we had a conversation the other day about, you kind of got to be mindful that shit will happen in your life, but equally don't sit there waiting for a glove, waiting with a paper bag of ready to catch the shit when it happens. Like you just move with it.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that. So what would you say kind of would be the 2 or 3 things that for you have moved the needle the most? Like in terms of, it could be from a top level or it could be specific individual things.
I think consistency. I think that's the biggest thing. Even if you're not feeling it, even if you're gonna go and do it poorly, you better just go in and doing it than not doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you agree with the idea that consistency is far more important than intensity?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Gets me juicy thinking about that. It's like it's the sessions that you didn't want to have, which somehow feel the best afterwards when you've got them done, right?
Yeah. And I think like I don't know how many days I'm up to now on like MyFitnessPal, not tracking every single meal, but tracking something every single day. So now I know recently we've done it in the mastermind where we've tracked everything, but I normally know what I'm eating at breakfast, what I'm eating at lunch. So, but my evening meal, I'm not always sure. Do you know what I mean? So I'll track that, or I'll chuck something into MyFitnessPal. I mean, it's over 300 days now where I've logged into MyFitnessPal.
Over 300 days you've logged into MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's the same on my Apple Watch. On your targets, your move streaks and things like that. It's over 300 days. You know what I mean? So it's just that I'm just counting down to 365 days.
That's awesome.
Beating
okay,
those.
so number one is consistency.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I think a big thing for me was the challenges what I set myself.
Okay.
Because I think they took the focus away from it just being weight and calories, which I think a lot of people get hung up about. So I think early on, one of my challenges was the 3 UK peaks. So it wasn't anything to do with weight. It was
so just to clarify for those that don't know, John basically climbed the 3 tallest peaks in the UK. And how much weight had you shifted when you actually did that, by the way?
I think about 20 kilos.
20 kilos, right.
Yeah.
So you're in the vicinity of like 110 roughly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay, cool.
So yeah, that, do you mean that was obviously a byproduct of getting out every night and going for a decent walk was losing the weight. Was you know what I mean? Watching your calories, was seeing your waist come in. Do you know what I mean? So it was looking at a challenge away from just that weight side of things. So that were really good for me. Then I set another challenge recently with my 10K. Do you know what I mean? To get that under 50 minutes. So that was another one. Do you know what I mean? Of it's not something what in reality is going to affect anything. It doesn't achieve anything, does it? But it meant that I'm going out there and pushing myself. I'm doing sprints or I'm doing 5Ks and it's kind of incidental exercise, isn't it, in reality? So I think the challenges were really good. And now obviously I'm trying to do the Joey will shout me for that. I'm doing the marathon in October. But I'm going to aim to do it under 4 hours. So that's the goal on that side of things. So it's just pushing that.
So I want to make a comment around that, because you mentioned there that to do something outside of your comfort zone and then getting and doing it, it doesn't change anything. Nothing changes in your life other than you just did it. You said you're going to do it and you did it.
Yeah.
I think we underestimate the value of having integrity of our word. Now, the way I've heard this put is if you're in a relationship with your partner and your partner kept telling you that they were going to do something and you didn't follow up on that, or they didn't follow up on it, soon enough, the trust in that relationship or that dynamic would be eroded away, right? Yet we continue to say that we're going to do stuff, don't do it. The trust with ourselves gets eroded away.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't trust yourself, that's a problem. That's a fundamental problem. And so I think the idea of having integrity of your word is don't commit to things that you don't have any intention of following up on, and be totally accountable. If you don't do them, put your hand up. And that's part of what the mastermind's about, putting your hand up for accountability. So I love that. Anything else that you want to throw in there for moving the needle? So you've mentioned being consistent, even at the expense of being of when your intensity is not there. You mentioned having a goal that's nothing to do with actually just health. It's something to aim at. Anything else?
Yeah. I just think it's creating habits, creating those new habits. That is the cornerstone. I think we talk a lot about a lot of other techniques that we can use, but that habit is just massive. My habit now, my morning, I get up, I go for a shower, I then go back, I do my stretching, I do my meditation, I do my 6-minute diary, I go to the gym, I come back, I go to work. Do you know what I mean? That's my morning routine, and that habit is just now set in stone. I wouldn't know what I'd do without that in reality. So it's, you know what I mean, I wouldn't know what to do in the morning if I got up without that.
You know what the greatest challenges is when you have a kid, you can't operate by the same habits that you did as an individual, where you're just responsible for yourself. And so one of the hardest things is like, how do you create a new habit? So totally get that. So consistency, having a goal outside of health and fitness that's kind of tied to it. And number 3 was creating a habit. Dude, I love that. Mate, where do you think people get it wrong? Because obviously you're a part of a community and you see guys that are killing it and you see guys that have the intention of killing it but drop away. Like, where do you think, have you got an opinion? It's not fact, but have you got an opinion on where you think people get it wrong?
I think not being willing or not being able to let go of their old routines and their old persona. I think is the biggest part. I think I know it's going to sound strange, this, but I've been really fortunate to be in the UK through COVID, because I've been locked away from all distractions, all my social life, all my friends, everything else. And that has given me 12 months to redefine myself.
So it was almost like a forced focus period.
Yeah. Where now I look back on it and I think, it's been really good to have this, because I don't know what position I'd have been in if not. Do you know what I mean? The focus on my side of things at work would have, my stress would have just spiraled. Do you know what I mean? I'd probably put on another 10 kilos. You know what I mean? You just don't know where you'd be at, do you? So I think it's been really good, but I think people can't distance themselves enough, or they just fall back into them routines and fall back into that old persona. I think that's the thing what people find most difficult.
And why do you think that
I'm
is?
now really,
do you think it's because of the environment that we're in habitually, or?
It's difficult. I think it's just difficult to change yourself, isn't it? You build yourself up over years, don't you? And you build that character up over years and years. So all of a sudden, to join an academy and just say, right, that's it, I'm not doing that anymore, I'm not making those choices anymore, it's not going to happen overnight, is it? Unless your government says to you, clubs are closed, football's closed, you can't go and see anybody. You can't meet anybody. You can go to work and you can come home again. So that's basically what happens to me.
It's forced.
So it's difficult, isn't it? People, I suppose, have to make those decisions on what they're willing to sacrifice.
That is a great point. So you can decide what you want, but unless you're willing to decide what you're willing to sacrifice as well, then it's kind of like, I want this. All right, cool. What are you willing to give up to get that? And a lot of people just aren't willing to give up the thing that's keeping them stuck. And often that thing is their own self-image, their own limiting beliefs, their own identity. And therefore they keep getting back into that same kind of trap. Man, I just can't shake this. Why can't I do the stuff that I want to do? Because you're holding on to
I'm now in the opposite way, because things are now opening up. Today they've opened up more things in the UK, so we can now eat inside, and all shops are open and all that kind of stuff. So I'm now in the opposite situation, where you're now getting back invited into social situations and just making that conscious effort of, do I want to do that? Is that my choice to be there? Or if I do go, do I want to go and drink 10 pints and stay there all day? Or do I go and have a couple of pints and then maybe have a couple of rums and talk the euros and walk home? Or like I did the other week, leave my car there and run for my car the next morning.
with this feeling slightly seedy. And that's it. That's what we've got to do. There's always choices within choices. It's not like static black or white, right?
Yeah.
And I think in our women's academy, one of the conversations that I had yesterday with them is like, stop hanging yourself as soon as you get into a social circumstance and then you regret it the next day. Like if you're making a conscious choice, it's fine. What's not fine is accidentally drinking 10 pints, feeling crap the next day, and then it all compounds, right? That's the problem. Yeah, I love that. Dude, why are you running? Like, why did you take up running seriously? Like, do you actually enjoy it, or?
I think it was just another one of my little challenges to myself. Just getting on the treadmill, starting off 1K, 2K, 3K, right? I can now do 5 kilometers without stopping on the treadmill. Right, I can do that in, I can't remember what the minutes were at the first time. Now can I improve that? And then, so that was on the treadmill. That was when gyms were closed and it was garage lockdown, all that kind of stuff. And now out running, it just gives you a sense of freedom, just to be able to go and run. It's like childlike almost, just to be able to get out and go for a run. Even more so, like my dog, I took my dog out today. He's not been well for the last 2 weeks, but to go out running with your dog, it's just free. Yeah,
dude, that's like, that mindset is unbelievable, because I think a lot of us think of it as, I have to do this, I have to eat healthy, I have to give up alcohol, I have to go to the gym, I have to, and it's a negative. Like, if you view health as a privilege and you get to do this, and that is a definite paradigm shift. Like, it's not an easy transition to make, but I get to go to the gym. Like, I get to get up and do what I want. That is a privilege, man. Yeah. So I can see how the liberation could be there for running. I love it, dude. Have you kind of noticed any notable changes outside of your fitness that your fitness has actually impacted upon in your life?
I think a lot of the techniques I've used in other parts of life. So I've used that in business. A lot of the goal setting, a lot of the things we discussed earlier, the approach, how I plan my day, those kind of things. Yeah, they've been good. I just think my general persona is better to speak with and be around. Like I say, I've not been angry for I don't know how long. I don't think it's this year that I've been angry. Let's say that.
Would you say you were an angry guy before?
I weren't angry. I think reactive more so.
Reactive.
Reactive, yeah. I wouldn't hold a grudge or anything like that, but I'd be reactive to things. Where now I'm not at all. It more makes me laugh if something winds you up and you think, right, that's a challenge. I mean, that's something else I've got to go at. I mean, that's something else we've got to overcome, kind of thing. So you relish the challenge on that. Relationship wise with family and friends, I think I'm better. I feel like I'm more supportive of them. I feel like yeah, I'm able to understand their concerns and understand their worries better than just sometimes you just end up in like shit tennis, don't you? You throw your shit at me, I'll hit it back at you. Do you mean? And that's it. And you finish your day where now you kind of, all right, yeah, I get that. Have you considered this? Have you spoken? Do you mean? Have you thought about this way? And people are, all right, yeah. So that's really good.
Dude, I love that. I love that. What if I can ask you, what still frustrates you about you? Something that maybe you're still working on.
I think sometimes I'm guilty of overthinking things a little bit. I'm normally quite good judge of things, and I feel like I should trust my gut feeling a little bit more. So yeah, sometimes I just overthink things where I could just be a bit more responsive. I think it's kind of a balance, isn't it, between reactive and responsive, but just trusting your gut and going with something.
I think as you become more and more self-aware, what happens is you become more perceptive to some faculties that you have in your mind that people don't otherwise use: creativity, imagination, and one of them is instinct, or what we call gut. So yeah, dude, I think as you begin to kind of roll on that and continue to evolve, you'll be making decisions in your business which are somewhat instinctive that maybe you wouldn't have backed yourself now. But the thing is, you trust yourself because you've proven I'm the type of guy that does what I say I'm going to do in one area, and then it compounds in another area. Dude, that gets powerful stuff. I love it. Mate, what makes you think like, for fuck's sake, just do this when you see someone else struggling on a fitness journey or in life? And obviously you don't know everything about their situation, but is there something you kind of just go, for fuck's sake, just do this and it will work for you? Is there any one thing?
I think it's just the bullshit diets and the that what people come out with. I think that's the bit what annoys me the most really at the minute is when people I haven't seen a lot of people for 12 months, so they're a little bit shocked at seeing me.
Yeah.
One of my good mates didn't recognise me the other day in the pub. Do you know what I mean? I was literally sat on a table, didn't recognise me, kind of thing. It was only when I spoke that he recognised me. So when you're speaking to people and then they're like, "Oh, how have you lost all the weight?" and you explain it, all right, well, I'm trying this way, and I'm like, "Don't try it this. Do you know what I mean? This way works. Like proof. Do you know what I mean? I've done it. Kind of eat well, up your activity. Do you know what I mean? Watch what you're eating, and that's as simple as what it is. Do you know what I mean? But then they start talking other diets and different crap, and you just okay. I'll leave you to it. You know
yeah,
I mean?
It's almost like that feeling, isn't it? You kind of got to let the person discover for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me when you failed 17 times and I'll show you how to do it. It's like, this is the hardest part about training family members. It's like, oh, they're, oh yeah, but, oh yeah, but, oh yeah, but. It's like, no, not but. Just do this. and education is central to that. I love it, dude. So we're going to wind this up. So are you happy now? And how do you think about happiness?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm in a really good place at the moment. I think we've talked about it. I know we mentioned it earlier about being in that flow state where you just things just seem to be going well for you. Yeah. And like we said earlier, it's a balance, isn't it, between being aware that there's going to be hiccups in the road and not being there and just looking out for them. So I think there's that. Obviously, I mentioned about my house the other day. Do you mean I think that was a slight hiccup and got over it? But yeah, so it's I'm in a good place. I'm happy at the minute. Yeah,
dude, I love that. That's a pretty cool thing to be able to say, huh? In a kind of like a world where, you know, where we are now, where there's just so much like, oh, do you watch the news?
No,
me either. I just can't. If I watch the news, my personality is just going to get infected by that.
I hate the news. I hate soap operas. I hate anything like that. It's just so negative, isn't it?
It is the worst. What would you think? This is an unprompted question. What do you think is the kind of the most important thing you learned from the Better Body Academy? Is there one thing that sort of stuck out to you? You mentioned what lessons you've kind of implemented in your life, like consistency and creating sort of micro challenges, but
one thing. It's really hard to put it down into one thing.
Just quick fire then, whatever.
Yeah, I think maybe if you are struggling, reach out and find someone who's doing it well. I think that's one thing that took on early days, was looking at other people in the group who were doing so well at it, and just looking at them and going, right, let me replicate what they're doing. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel yourself. It was looking at people like Brett Saunter, Shannon Dixon, you know what I mean, Mike Ilias, those kind of people, and just going, well, what they're doing, how are they getting so good results? I want some of that, and not comparing myself to them, because I wasn't in a position where I could compare myself to them, but just going, well, they're doing that and they're getting them results, I'm going to copy them. So I think that,
one of my favorite phrases is success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. And it entertains this idea of modeling. Like, how can you just watch what someone does and take away 2 or 3 things from what they do and implement it in your own life? People are always looking for shortcuts and hacks. It is the way to get a shortcut and hack is to not reinvent the wheel, right? It's kind of like, what's he doing there? What's he doing there? Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, final question, my man. Where to now? Where are we going? Have you so you set a goal for a marathon in October, is it?
Yep.
Cool. All right.
I just think to keep in this state, this happy flow state of continual improvement, I think could be a really good place to live. Always being able to, I think being able to set yourself challenge is really good. I think in my work, I see a lot of people who maybe give up and no longer have them challenges in their life. They're getting towards the end of their life, and as soon as they give up, that's it. They don't have a challenge anymore, and they kind of slowly fade. So I think that's where I want to be. So it's not fixed on one thing. It's not fixed on my health. It's not fixed on my business. It's not on anything else. It's just being able to always have the ability to challenge myself.
I've never thought that about your situation and whether that was a potential catalyst. The fact that obviously you run some aged care homes, like you get to see people towards the end of their lives.
Yeah.
I can imagine that gives you a pretty good kind of radar or a forecast at where you might be in 40, 50 years type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's wow.
Wow. But the only other destination is the health, the retreat, what you keep mentioning, the BBA retreat.
Well, dude, I mean, firstly, you're probably not going to be able to get away with it from work, but yeah, like honestly, if it was not for, border closures at the moment, we'd be doing it in probably either Bali or Hawaii. So hopefully in the next 6 to 12 months, mate, we can actually do it. There's nothing stopping us now. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I think we'd be able to bring back all the old members and get them together in Bali. There'll be a couple of beers for sure, maybe a few cheeky massages, but yeah, man, it'd be so cool to be able to bring a bunch of guys and girls.
Can we get a marathon round Hawaii? Is it big enough?
Possibly. Possibly. Well, dude, I want to finish off with honoring you, my man. Thanks for coming in both to the podcast and the mastermind to talk about. I think like just your approach is super fresh. It's just basic. You have this ability to just simplify things and dumb things down. Like I'll ask you an intricate question and you're like, just go for a walk. You know what I mean? And I think that's really important. So you don't.
Yeah, it's like running. Running is putting one foot in front of the other, isn't it? It's the same as cycling. It's putting one foot in front of the other and keep going. You know what I mean? And it's as simple as that, isn't it? It's yourself what complicates the rest of it.
Well, we get stuck in our heads and we're kind of like, how can I just like construct a running plan where I try to work out how to, it's like, just go for a run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I love it. All right, let's wind it there. Thanks, Johnny. I appreciate your time, mate. This is Better Body Academy podcast, your podcast where you come for permanent mindset and body transformations like John. John, where are you at weight-wise right now?
95 kilos.
Oh, from 135 at the top, 40 kilos. Fat loss, stop it and keep going. We're going to leave it there, guys. Well done. Thanks, John. Chat to you soon. Wolves and Warriors, thank you so much for tuning in. If this podcast is hitting the mark for you and giving you the confidence to start your own personal journey, I want you to hit me up on Facebook or head over to my Instagram at jstewart_BetterBodyAcademy and DM me with the words Better Body Academy. I want to give you the tools to permanently overhaul your mind and body without dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. Our mission is to achieve 1 million lives transformed. And you, my friend, could be next. So hit me up on Facebook or head over to my Instagram at jstewart_BetterBodyAcademy and DM me with the words Better Body Academy and we can have a chat about whether we can help you with your transformation goals.